All right, once you have your picture printed out, what we have to do is we've got to trace off the different values on different papers. So you're going to need, however big your thing is, you're going to need 3 pieces of, this is like poster board, something kind of sturdy. And we are going to trace off the different levels of values. So on my first one, and first thing you need to do, put your name on it. And you're going to put the number 1. This is going to be your first stencil. So you want to do it in the order that you're going to spray them. Okay. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to tape this down. I would make sure that they're all done in the same place on your, make sure that your pieces of cardboard are the same, or excuse me, poster board are the same size. And then you want to make sure that you're taping them in the same place. That way when you lay your stencil down, you can mark and you'll know that you're spraying it in the right place. So I'm going to slide this to the side because I think I want to add in the rest of my arm. So I want to draw in the rest of this right here. And this will be dark. And then the light here. Light bay. All right, so the first thing, you need some tracing paper, carbon paper. This, you make sure that the dark side is down. And you're going to slide it underneath. Make sure that this is secure so it doesn't slide. You're going to slide it underneath your picture. So dark side down under your picture. And the first stencil that I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure this is nice and flat. And you're going to trace around the whole outside of your silhouette. So I'm going to take and trace around the entire thing, just the outside. I'm just using a ballpoint pen. You might want to, I don't think I got it right here. Lift up to make sure that you have the whole silhouette. I'm just gonna draw that in there. Rest of my arm, okay? And this will be your number 1 stencil. Now make sure you're gonna switch to the next one. And you're gonna put your name again. So we know whose stencils are whose, and this is going to be my number 2. So I'm going to take this off of here, and I'm going to spray that, or excuse me, tape that. Not spraying anything yet. I want to tape it in the same place. So I did this down to the right, on the right side of my paper. So I'm going to tape it in the same place, as close as I can. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trace off whatever values you would spray next. Probably, so the first one, I'm going to spray the whole silhouette, one of these values. I wouldn't do my darkest. You might not want to do the lightest. I would probably do my mid-tone. So let's say that this is your middle value, your middle color, which means on these other 2, I need to do my lightest values and my darkest values. So I'm going to take this again. Don't throw this away when you're done with it. It's reusable. Dark side down, and I'm going to lay it down. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace off all the shapes of the lightest values. So I'm going through here. You don't have to, this is hair, so I'm trying to add a little texture, but you don't have to like include every small little detail, just kind of I'm doing this in pen so I can see the ones that I already traced. I actually went through with a Sharpie first and kind of straightened up edges so it wasn't confusing, and then I used a pencil for the gray areas just to kind of clean it up. So I'm just tracing around all the white shapes that I see. Make sure that your paper stays flat. Don't let your pen can kind of push it up, so make sure that it stays down on the paper. Maybe trace it on too. These little highlights, I'm gonna try to cut them out. They may not cut out exactly on there, but all right, I'm gonna retrace this line because this is the white shape also. Then come over here. All right, and you're going to continue that until you have all the white spaces traced. Kind of double check before you lift your paper off. And then you're going to go back to your last paper. Again, put your name. Oh, I smeared my name. And this will be number 3. So this will be your darkest shade. And you're going to do the same thing, except you're going to trace over all the black areas. All right, next thing you're gonna do, you're gonna need your 3 different values that you've traced, and we are now going to cut those shapes out. You're gonna use an X-Acto knife. These unscrew to remove the blade. Check your blade every once in a while, make sure that it is in and that this is tight, because as you use it, this will kind of loosen a little bit sometimes. Don't over tighten it because you'll strip the screws, but tighten it until it just stops. Somebody's already over tightened this one, I think. You always want a sharp, make sure this is sharp. If it starts to not cut through very easily, change out the blade, because you don't want to apply too much pressure when you're cutting, because it will break the end. You should be able to just kind of, you want to hold it not straight up and down, but kind of slanted, and even with the paper, and you just kind of press. Make sure that you're on a cutting mat, and you just want to kind of slowly cut through. If it doesn't go through on the first go, then you go back over it, but you don't want to like have to be pressing. If your fingers are white from pressing, you're pressing too hard. You don't have to press that hard. So it should, with a nice sharp blade, it should cut through on the first swipe. So you're going to go through with the first one. You're going to cut out the whole silhouette. Keep your picture nearby just in case you get confused about something that you drew off. Just double check it. But you're going to cut out all of those shapes that you outlined. So with this one, I'm cutting out all of my highlights. With this one, I'm cutting out all of my shades. And this one is just the silhouette, okay? You may or may not need this one if you are using, like if you're doing graffiti on something and you want that to show through as your mid-tone, that's fine. So you may not need to spray that first one, but if you want to spray the basic silhouette, then you need to do this one. So you're just gonna keep cutting until you have all that cut out. Cut carefully. You can always take more away. You can't add it back. Move your paper around. If you have a sharp edge like this, I wouldn't try cutting into it. You can kind of, if you have a sharp corner like that, just kind of do like this, and then come back this way and pull that direction. Don't rip it. You want to keep your lines as nice and neat as you can. And just keep going until you're done.